Hello, my name's Bella Edgley. Welcome to my channel where I talk mostly about watercolour. Now today I'm going to be doing two abstract paintings in my sketchbook, and they're both based on a walk that I did in the forest in Scotland, and I really wanted to try and capture this sort of fragmented, very sort of energetic and varied landscape of trees around me. And I also was looking at the work of Songbook Hong Setton. In this fantastic book, she's got The Spirit of the Brush. She does a lot of this kind of abstract brushwork, and I think it's really beautiful. She uses a lot of black. I don't have black ink, so I'm using my black watercolour paint. And what I'm really trying to do is to try to be as free as I can, although that is always quite challenging, and also to have a very sort of wide variety of marks and sizes of shape on my paper. And I'm also trying to take care to leave some white space around my marks as well. And I'm using quite a limited colour palette. I'll put the colours up on the screen there that I've used. Now this isn't the first time that I've done sketchbook paintings like this, and it's taken me quite a lot of practice to start to do paintings that I'm happy with in this sort of style, and I think that something I've realised recently is that you really need to try and keep a variety of tones within the painting, because otherwise the contrast between the white paper and the paint can be a bit too much. So that's what I'm doing for this one. I first of all set down some paints where the tone wasn't too strong, and then on top of that I'll put darker tones. I feel that that's really helped my paintings like this, so maybe that's a good tip. And what I'm doing here is I actually went to the garden and I just got some random leaves and twigs and things, because I'm really interested in experimenting with how to create different marks. And as you can see, that sort of flick at the beginning, that was done just by flicking my brush. So I think these kinds of paintings are a really good excuse to just try out different ways of making marks. So that stick was actually quite successful, and the thing I like about that is I'm sort of actually painting twig marks with a twig. So it's really quite fun, I think, and you can just really sort of experiment. So here I actually end up using my finger to move the paint around, and again that was just a very spare of the moment decision. And then another thing that I really like to do when I'm painting is, and I quite often use these in my work actually, is I do these circles and then I like to drop a bit of darker colour in the centre of the circle. And that's just, a way of creating interesting shapes and variations within the watercolour painting. And I'm pretty happy with how this painting's turning out. I really like the composition, and at this point I decided not to do too much to it. I was originally intending on using a sort of blue purple colour on it, but I'm not going to do that because I'm really happy with just this really limited colour palette. And I'm getting my black now, and I'm adding some much darker marks in with that. And for me that kind of represents like the tree trunks and the tangled branches that you get in the forest. And I think that black is a really nice contrast to the lighter colours. So that's what I'm doing there. I'm just finishing it off, and like I said, I'm not adding too much because I was quite happy with how this painting was looking. I'm just trying to balance the composition a little bit by adding some marks up there at the top, and then I'm adding another mark down here at the bottom. I did a bit of sort of wet and wet work there to make the edge of that shape a bit more blurred than the other marks. So again, that's just a nice contrast to the other elements. Okay, so here's the finished painting. I'm not going to do any more, and I took the tape off. I didn't film that, but I'll just put a quick screenshot of the finished painting up there. And for the next one I'm going to put the music up while I do it, and I'm following a very similar principle, and then I'll jump in again at the end. did add a little bit there, but then I felt like it just wasn't quite right, so I just got my tissue and I muted it down a bit. So I really decided to stop this painting here, and I was happy with it. I'm taking the tape off there, and I did actually use a trick of heating the tape with a hairdryer, which has been suggested to me by quite a few people, and that really did make it easier to take the tape off, so that's a really good tip. Now, I was really happy with these two sketches. I think that the first one was probably a little bit more successful in terms of composition, but the second one has a lot of interesting marks that I'll be able to use for paintings moving forward. So I really hope that you've enjoyed this demonstration, and maybe you might try something similar, and if you do, then please let me know how you get on in the comments. Okay, so this demonstration is over really, but I'm adding a kind of bonus to it, because I did take the second sketch and I decided that I wanted to see what more I could do with it using some NeoColor pastels, which I'd used on a previous sketch, and I'm just going to tag that along to the back of this video in case you're interested. You know, art is never finished, it's ever evolving, and one idea adds to the next. And I think for these paintings, I want to be able to really take them forward and kind of combine a few different styles that I've been using. So I'm just putting that in here really fastened up, and I hope you enjoy it. Like I said, it's not what the main bulk of this video is about, but I am using NeoColor II pastels, and these are water-soluble wax pastels which go fantastically well with watercolour, so you might want to try them out if you haven't. Okay, so I really hope you've enjoyed this demonstration, and if you did, please hit like, and if you'd like to see similar videos in the future, then please subscribe to my channel. Okay, thank you, bye.